Hello, so today I'm going to be doing the TBR tag. I saw this on Alma's channel, so that's Alma Loves Books, and I watched her tag and I commented on her video, and she said that I should do the tag, so I just decided, okay, yeah, I'll do the tag. How do you keep track of your TBR? So basically, like most people, I do use Goodreads. Also, I work in a bookshop, and in our staff room we have a little notice board and we all write the books that we're currently reading or have read on there, so I have like a whole list written down, which is quite nice to have that too. Other than that, yeah, it's mostly Goodreads that I use. Question 2. Is your TBR mostly print or ebook? I'm not really a fan of ebooks or audiobooks. I just really love physical books because for me it's not just about the content of the books. I actually like books as an object to keep and treasure. I've tried ebooks but just never really got on with them. I do actually find it really impacts how I rate a book as well. I know that any ebook or audiobook that I've listened to always seem to get lower ratings than the physical books I read. I'm not sure what it is exactly, I just know that I have so much more appreciation for physical books. Question 3. How do you determine which book on your TBR to read next? Literally, I'll look at the books and I'll get a feeling. I'll be like, I feel like reading that, I'm going to read that. It's as simple as that. Only occasionally I might pick a book to read because someone's lent me it, and the other reason that I might not go on feeling is because in work sometimes it's beneficial to read certain books, so I might pick up a book because I think it's going to help me out in work. I'll think, oh, a lot of people are going to ask me about that book, so I should read it. But other than that, I'll look at it and it'll look at me and I'll read it, which is pretty similar to what Alma said as well. The book shouts at her and the books shout at me too. I understand, completely understand. The books shout at me and I pick them up and I read them. Question 4. Which book has been on your TBR for the longest? This has been on my TBR for years. I don't really know what it's about. If I show you, so it's kind of made to look like a library book. It's by J.J. Abrams. This is the book, so it's meant to look like a library book, but actually when you look inside, so what I mean whenever I say it's a book within a book is that it's a library book, but it's got all these annotations, and there's loads of inserts, there's a postcard, there's loads of stuff within it. So you've got the actual story of the book, and then there's a story within the annotations and the things that are inserted with it. So it's a bit of a mixed media type book, so I am really intrigued by it. I think because it's got loads of inserts and stuff, I can't take it with me anywhere. I have to read it at home, and I want to dedicate the time to it, and I find that I read more when I'm on my break at work or whenever I'm on a bus or whatever, so this isn't really one that I can do in that time, but I will get to it eventually, she says, like 10 years later. But yeah, I'm definitely planning on actually looking at this, it makes me want to read it sooner rather than later, but yeah, it's definitely been on my TBR the longest. Question 5. Which book have you most recently added to your TBR list? So my computer's down here, I'm going to go to Goodreads and actually see what did I actually most recently add. Against Everything essays. This looks really good actually. It's a bunch of essays that talk about a number of different things, and it looks at it from a perspective that you wouldn't ordinarily think about. So I think that it's one that will definitely make you look at certain subjects in a really different way. So it does give you a couple of examples here. What shopping in organic supermarkets does for our sense of self-worth. Why do we put ourselves through the pains of exercise? And what happens if we listen to too much Radiohead? So it sounds really random, but I think that it would be a really good one. So I haven't actually bought it yet, but it's the most recent one that I added to my to-read list on Goodreads. Question 6. Pick a book on your TBR that you bought strictly for the cover. Most books that I buy are cover buys. I mean, at least initially, I always look at book covers and then I'll maybe read the synopsis, I might read the first sentence, I might look at some reviews and then I'll buy it. But there is a few books that I've probably bought just strictly for the cover, and one of them was this one, which is a poetry book called Motherland, Fatherland, Homeland Sexuals. I was like, that looks weird, therefore I'm going to pick it up. And it was weird. It was brilliant. Question 7. What unpublished book on your TBR are you excited to read? I've pre-ordered quite a few books that I don't even remember what they were. They're just going to turn up and that'll be exciting. But the two that I can remember, I don't know if you know the TV series I've just realised I have to say a word that no one understands in my accent. So I'm from Northern Ireland, but I live in England, and I frequently refer to this object as a reflection device. because if I try to say it in my accent, it just sounds horrendous and no one knows what I'm saying. So it's the TV series. I'm going to put the title somewhere here. But yeah, Black Reflection Device. There's a book coming out of it and I love that TV series. It really reflects on social issues that are really present in a really dark way that really makes you think. It kind of with your head a little bit, but it's brilliant and I'm really intrigued to see what that would be like in book form. There's also another book coming out called Psychedelic Medicine by Dr. Richard Miller, and that's a subject that I'm really interested in. I'm interested in the kind of positive side of psychedelics and how they can be used in medicine. I did read this year The Psychedelic Renaissance and it was brilliant. I'm just really fascinated by it, so I'm excited to read something a little bit more on it because there's obviously not that much out there on it just because of the law. And its restrictions on studying this side of psychedelics. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that one as well. I think both are out this year. Next month, this month, who knows. Question 8. Name a book on your TBR that everyone has read except you. There's so many, and the one that I'm gonna choose is To Kill a Mockingbird. Question 9. Name a book on your TBR that everyone recommends to you. I've been told several times that I would really like Virginia Woolf, particularly Mrs. Dalloway, which I do have and I have every intention of getting to it. It's actually quite high on my TBR, but yeah, loads of people have recommended this to me, so I'm probably going to get to it before the end of the year or in January. Question 10. Name a book that you are dying to read. Winter by Ali Smith. I loved Autumn. Loved it. And Winter has recently come out in hardback, but I don't really have any room for hardback, so I'm not allowed to buy it. So I'm either going to wait for it to come out in paperback, or I'm going to get it from the library, or I'll probably just end up buying the hardback and figure it out. Question 11. How many books are on your TBR shelf? Too many. I'm not going to answer that. That's my answer. Too many. Anyway, that's the tag. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in the next one. Bye.